Peace and assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, I just listened to a splendid interview on YouTube. The On Being Project, I think it is. And the interview was with the Queen Mother, Miss Nikki Giovanni. And it was just fabulous. I loved it. And unfortunately, I didn't start making notes taking notes when I should have, because for some reason, all these years later, I still think that I can hold on to something mentally to recall later. And the fact is, 3 minutes in, it's gone. So I did write down some things, watching the road, of course, but as best I could whilst driving for the past 6 hours. And I wanted to share some things, and please do go and listen to the interview yourself right here on YouTube again with the On Being Project, and listen for yourself, and inshallah you too will find some gems to hopefully make you reflect, if not help you to make some changes within yourself, within your life, as you see fit or not. Nonetheless, these are some things that she said that kind of struck me, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts with you. So let's see. First one had to do with evolving with age. Now, also, let me just sort of stick in there real quickly. I'm just paraphrasing or summarizing what I think either what she said or what I think she said or what I heard, because I'm driving. I couldn't take for real notes. But so she spoke about, she's 72 years. Well, I guess that was a year ago. So perhaps she's 73 by now. But the interviewer asked her something, mentioned about her, being all on YouTube and stuff like that, and people, digging works that she did, and the I don't know what you call it, but the thing that she did with James Baldwin back in 73. Paris, 71 to 73 in Paris. And she said, basically, what she said is that 25-year-old her, she had fun, that was her thing, but she does not nor does she allow people to try to keep her as who she was when she was 25 at 72. And so that struck me because it makes sense. Hopefully we are evolving with age, but unfortunately I am privy to many people who, in my opinion, have not necessarily, they're still who we all were in the 90s or what have you, with the conspiracy theories and stuff like that, or of course and other things. That just sticks out to me because that conspiracy theory type thing, because there's so much of it going on right now, not just with Trump and those cats, but I can't tell you how many people, associates of mine, how many inbox messages I get with all this stuff, whether it's about predictions or the government this, government that. And yeah, we know that I believe that people may be privy to certain things that have not happened yet, not necessarily because they have some great spiritual gift, but I mean, if you sit back and observe the world long enough, you kind of, yeah, that's probably going to happen again, because we do stuff over and over again. And things, even with natural disasters and things like that, they happen over and over again. So you don't have to be any Einstein, but it makes me wonder, what is the fascination that people have with, oh, such and such predicted this. You know, the Mayans said 3,000 years ago this is gonna happen. Nostradamus said 500 years ago this is gonna happen. I'm just not impressed. I'm like, whatever. First of all, they've been wrong so many times before, and or let's say them or people's interpretations have been wrong before, and like, so what? But so I said again, I see that many people don't really evolve with age. I think I have been evolving theoretically, with theories and stuff like that, and faith and love, and you know, you live and hopefully you learn. And as I said, I think I am. Ooh, am I going the right way? Gosh, things have changed so much around here. Oh, I think I'm on the right road. So yeah, that's something. And then she talked about how at 25 she looked at it as that was a quarter of her whole life. Then at 50 she was like, this is another quarter of my whole life. You change, and because you experience things. I can absolutely say, so my son and his family, so his wife and his stepson, they just relocated, and so they're at my house while they, get their berries and get themselves together and all that kind of thing. I am thrilled to pieces to have this little person, this little 5-year-old in my home. I am like so crazy. And my daughter, who's 21, she said to me this morning, like, type laughing at me. She's like, you're like the only one happy that there's like a little kid in the house right now, which is, she always got to make noise, but she's happy too. But, I had to sort of analyze myself the other day, because in anticipation of them coming, I just felt like I was so excited. I was so happy. And I thought about it, and what I came up with is that I think I am such a better parent right now. I'm such a better parent with, is this my turn? Nope. I'm such a better parent for young people. I've been doing this for 29 years now. 4 children. I raised 2 boys, 2 girls, so I got, both of those experiences gender-wise. And then, while my children are very much alike, they also have distinct differences. So, you just learn things. And, I'm older, of course, oftentimes, which is certainly for me. Patience comes with age, so I'm certainly a lot more patient now. I know how to do things that I did not know or understand before when my children were young. There's just so many things, and I've really been, and then of course I can't, as I told my daughter, like, well, I can't manufacture any babies anymore, so. And I've been wanting to adopt for years and years and years and years, and I've really been thinking about it more and more lately. And so with my little June bug here at the house, I feel like I have so much more to offer him. And also, as I told my son, I also know, not just believe, but know, when my children were young, I was in the phase of life that he and his wife are in, he and my daughter-in-law are in right now. Grinding, trying to make that money, trying to make ends meet, trying to figure it all out, trying to understand what the hell does this mean to be a parent, and I'm past that now. I work and everything, but I'm not chasing a dollar. I work when I want to work, which is usually no more than 3 or 4 days a week, because I don't want to. And so I have more time to give to a child also, And then I have money now. I didn't have money back then. So now I have money. So, things that may be a necessity for helping because he's not mine, of course, helping to raise a child or educating a child, all those things. I'm just in a much better place, and again, I just have so much more to offer, I think, in the realm of parenting. So I'm really excited. So, in relation to Mr. Giovanni, yeah, man, evolving with age is something I can relate to, and I pray Allah I continue to do much better because I'm still a kid at heart. So the next thing is her perspective on, she said she made it a point to say slavery. She was talking about slavery specifically, but then generally I think she meant just looking at things from a different eye or a different perspective, which I think that also comes with age and evolving, Like, for instance, she, in her talking about slavery, she said, yeah, we all know that there are victims in slavery. Absolutely. But what about, what did she say? I forget who's, what was the other way she said to look at it? I don't recall. But I actually do that anyway. Like, when I think of slavery and the traumas of the African American and the Native American people, specifically, I think about the other side too, because I think that we're so hurt and so angry that we just look at white folks and the bullshit that they did and the evils that they did. Yes, it's so, but the same way that we have been conditioned on a lot of levels to now be how we always say, well, it's because of what we went through. That's why we have colorism, and that's why we have, war or whatever of the genders, which goes beyond white folks. All the sorts of things. But okay, yeah, many things we learned and then passed on generationally to, who we are now. But it's the same thing with white folks. They were taught the same things. They learned the same things. And what about the wives of these masters who, also, I'm sure the way, white men beat and oppress and murder their women now at tremendous rates. Why would I think that anything was different back then? And of course, you're married to this man, and then you see all these little black babies, or half black, whatever you want to call it, babies running around. Of course. And they touched on that a little bit in the movie Django, how the wife was towards Lupita's character. But yeah, man, it can't just be one-sided. There are many, many things. And of course, as she also said, you can't talk about the buying, the purchasing of people without talking about the sellers of the people. God, dog, they get on my nerves, and black folk try to act like Africans had nothing to do. Even the Africans who they know their ancestors had a huge hand in the transatlantic slave trade, even they acknowledge it and sort of try to apologize about it. African Americans refuse to believe that such a thing happened. So, it's just ridiculous. But yes, to her point, looking at situations from a different perspective, I think is so important. And again, I think it comes with not just age, but wisdom. I'm almost to my spot. I want to get some of this out. Just talking about black people in space. Certain things kind of are strange to me. So when black folk, now I'm a huge fan of Walter Mosley, and I've certainly heard Walter Mosley. I know he's not the only one. Walter Mosley has said, like, black people, he writes about black characters because black people, we must see ourselves in books to understand that we are a part of the future and that sort of thing. um, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But it's so funny, it's so crazy to me. Those sorts of things never dawned on me. When I was a little kid, I always, and I know a lot of y'all can also relate to this, I always thought I had powers. I always saw spirits. I always, like, the supernatural world, and to me, space is connected to that. The supernatural world was never something that I felt I did not belong to, and it never dawned on me that black people were not a part of that, because blackness has always been, like, it was just a reality. Even with my mom being so light-skinned and everything, she was just so pro, like, blackness. Not militant, but just black. And so it was just a reality. It was nothing that had to be, like, shouted from the rooftops or anything. It was just like, I can remember being maybe about 5 or so, and her explaining to me what it meant to be the original people, and how Allah made, the original people and stuff like that. And that was it. Like, we never talked race in my household. Like, never. It was never a thing. It was just, but, like, really nothing was talked about in my household. Mom Dukes, she just led by example. This is what it is. And so it was nothing that felt like it was outside of self. It was all within. Even with Allah and Islam, I have a whole other video I talked about that. I ain't gonna go on with that. But it's always just been within me. So I never saw these things as being other entities. Like, even when I look back at this video, I'll probably be like, I was digressing all over the place. But even I remember when 9/11 happened. First of all, when the Gulf War happened, I was all in Purda, and, like, nobody was doing that back in those days. But I was with the Ansarullah community, and that's how we roll. So where I live and everything, you didn't see that anywhere. Now you see it a lot. But it never dawned on me to not dress like that. When 9/11 happened, and, like, Muslims were coming out of their khimars, or their hijabs, we call them now, coming out of their khimars and everything, it never dawned on me to not cover. It never ever dawned on me, never. And it wasn't until years later I was on Facebook, and some Muslims were talking, and they started talking about how when they go for job interviews and stuff, they will, like, take off their khimar. I mean, I'm not knocking them, and I wasn't knocking them then. Fear is a very real thing, but it just has never dawned on me to do such things, because it's simply who I am. And why would I don't know. I don't think about things in that way for some reason. And likewise, black people having a place in space, or in the unphysical world, or the world that we don't know right now, it just never ever dawned on me, because I was just always one of those really imaginative children, and I always just had a connection to that world, and it's very interesting to me. Okay, so I just got to call in, so I gotta hurry on up and get done with this the the other thing she talked about was knowing what you love and what loves you, and being patient with your love. And so that hit home with me because I'm one of those people. First of all, I'm in love with love. I really am. And like in all, I can't say all because I don't know all, is, but in so very many aspects of it. And so I'm one of those people, if I have 2 slices of bread, I'm going to give you one. If you don't have nothing to eat, I'm going to give you one. And then if somebody else roll up, I'm going to be splitting up my little one piece of bread too to get it them. And it's all good, you know what I'm saying? I think I don't believe that just because, let me use myself, I accumulate certain things that they are actually meant for me. Sometimes it was given to me because it was meant to move through me to go to, reach its destination. And so, whatever. And, good Lord, I gotta stop putting this thing on airplane mode. So, yeah, like I was saying, so, I'm just one of those people. I'm just really, really, really giving, and I love being that way. I don't ever want to change. But the problem is, I've been taken advantage of quite often. And I'm not, when I say giving, I'm not only talking about with things, I'm talking about with me. And I'm an all or nothing type of girl. So, yeah. So I dig what she's saying about that whole, being patient and, knowing what you love and what loves you back. And I guess in saying that, she's saying that when you give love, you need to have some sort of reciprocation involved. Amen and hallelujah. Being careful to not become bitter. Oh God, I think I said this in another video at some point, but I can remember being like 24 and just seeing so many sisters around me, women around me, just seem so bitter. Like they had been, dragged through the mud in their lives, and they were just, we black women are strong folks. And natives too. Natives don't get caught up in this old, the Jewish supposed to be Indian dude with the one tear dropping all that, like, oh, they're so spiritual. Yeah, it's about that spirit life, but guess what? You will get chin checked. Let me tell you, especially my people, the Mohawks, they'll bust that ass. But anyway, so we're just strong beings, and even though we keep smiling and things like that, we've been hurt so much. And so you learn to put up this coldness or this shell or what have you. And I can remember seeing women back then, and I was just like, note to self, that ain't gonna be me. And so I really struggle with that, making sure I don't become that sort of person, not having that bitterness. And I think I'm still doing good, but I'm gonna tell you, I do have a lot of anger in me, because when I'm alone with my thoughts, I'll be like, girl, you need to stop. If I did everything I'd be thinking about doing, folks. But, so it's a struggle, but it's something that I think is important. And so yeah, that's something she again touched on that struck me. And the last thing, and I'm not going to really go into this as much as I wanted to because I do need to go. She talked about writers, and she said that she sort of suggested or almost chastised writers, maybe, in that, grandmama sort of way, that stop leading your writing by what other people may or will think or say about your writing, how you will be critiqued. That's not your mission. The mission of the writer is to tell the truth, she said. And we're not in this for likes, for people to like us and stuff like that. We're not in this, as poets in particular, are not in this for accolades and for bestseller and things like that, because poets oftentimes don't do that. But that's not what the point is. And that struck me because first of all, I have poems that turned out to be really great in my opinion, but took me years to write. Do you hear me? And this one poem I've been working on, man, for at least 5 years. It bothers me so much. I just can't seem to finish it. But one thing I don't do, I don't simply finish something, rest something and finish it because for the sake of finishing it. If it's going to take 7 years, then it's going to take 7 years. And when I'll know when it's done, because I'll feel it, I'll know it. So that struck me, and that takes some. It struck me because I think that hinders me. I won't say a lot, but it certainly hinders me a great deal in my writing, I think, because I'm a performer. And so, although I have not been on the mic for a very long time, I still approach my writing in that way. And so when you, at least in the Black community, and in the 90s when I was like always doing my thing, whatever, before the baby started coming, when you're on the mic, you speak the truth, or the truth as you see it, but you always gotta say it in the real slick type of way, because it's also entertainment. And so you know how Black folk are, especially. I don't know how it is out there now. My friend Tree still goes out and performs, but he was telling me how different it is now and all that kind of stuff. But we all might be biased, because all my poets from back then, everybody's like, yo, they don't know what they doing these days. The same way we all with the little rappers now, you know, the hip hop versus the rap. But so you do, to a degree, need to write it also thinking about how it will be received. And so that's something, inshallah, I'm gonna try to really work on with my writing, so that I can just push forth, get it out. And actually she inspired me. I already started like 3 or 4 poems just driving, listening to like that hour-long interview. So inshallah, we'll see. But I better go before I get in trouble. I need to get my salat in. I need to make my travel salat, do my thought, my asr. And there you go. Peace.